Welcome back to the channel. Today we bring you the latest Manchester United transfer news and updates. Ruben Amorim'S new plan as he eyes changes for United's midfield. Stay tuned for all the breaking updates. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more Manchester United news. Comment below, should Garnacho stay at Man UT or move this summer? Ruben Amorim comes up with new plan as midfielder reveals stance on exit. Manchester United still have work to do in the final days of the transfer window as the club look to strengthen Ruben Amorim'S midfield before the deadline passes at the turn of the month. Manchester United have less than 2 weeks to complete the remainder of their work in the transfer window. Ruben Amorim will hope the club's activity will help his team reach greater heights after producing an impressive display that ended in defeat against Arsenal. The Red Devils have already seen significant signings in Bryan Mbeumo, Benjamin Sesko, and Matheus Cunha, having splashed out in the region of $200 million. The trio made their competitive debuts against the Gunners but were unable to find the net. And Amorim looks to want more reinforcements in his squad, with midfield among the priorities. A move for Carlos Baleba has been stopped in its tracks, by Brighton's asking price being in excess of 100 million. United may need to facilitate more sales to aid any new deals. Marcus Rashford has already departed on loan to Barcelona, but new clubs are still required for Jadon Sancho, Antony, and Alejandro Garnacho. Mirror Football takes a look at some of the latest news and transfer rumors around Old Trafford. Man UTD. Transfer plan. Manchester United are still considering signing a central midfielder before the end of the summer transfer window after moving on from Carlos Baleba. The 21-year-old Cameroon international is under contract with Brighton until June 2028, and the Seagulls are unwilling to budge on their significant demands, having sold Moises Caicedo for $115 million to Chelsea 2 years ago. The Red Devils now have some alternatives in mind, however, per The Athletic. Morten Hjulmand and Adam Wharton are now under the microscope as United attempt to strengthen Ruben Amorim'S midfield. Hjulmand is extremely well known to the United boss after playing 65 times under the Portuguese coach. The 26-year-old is reportedly available for around $50 million. Wharton, meanwhile, may be a difficult deal to do as Crystal Palace face seeing Mark Guehi and Eberechi depart for Liverpool and Tottenham, respectively. The 21-year-old has 4 years left on his contract. Man UTD can hijack Donnarumma deal. Manchester United have found new hope in financing a deal for Gianluigi Donnarumma this summer as interest builds in goalkeeper Andre Onana. Inter Milan are interested in bringing back the glovesman that helped them to the Champions League final in 2023. Onana's position has been widely speculated upon since arriving in England after failing to convince during a difficult period for United. If Inter do come in with a bid, United could have the funds to quickly go out and land their replacement. Donnarumma could become an immediate target, despite interest from neighbors Manchester City, after Paris Saint-Germain decided they wanted to part ways with the Italian. The Champions League winners want to earn a fee for the shot-stopper after failing to come to an agreement over a new deal and signing Lucas Chevalier as a replacement. It is said Donnarumma could be available for as little as $26 million. Casemiro. Transfer stance. Manchester United midfielder Casemiro is happy at Old Trafford, despite persistent talk of a move away from the club over the last 12 months. The Brazilian midfielder has produced inconsistent form in the Premier League in recent seasons, but started under Ruben Amorim in the first match of the season against Arsenal. Casemiro has another 12 months on his contract and has seen links to Saudi Arabia, but appears content to spend another year with the club. "I am very happy here," he said. "My family is happy here. I enjoy every day at Carrington and at Old Trafford. If people talk from the outside, that's fine. It doesn't interest me. I just want to focus on winning." Alejandro Garnacho sticks to his word as Man UT received new offer for Chelsea target Manchester United outcast. Alejandro Garnacho has his heart set on a move to Premier League rivals Chelsea this summer after falling out of favor under Ruben, Amorim'S. Alejandro Garnacho has backed up his promise after turning down a move to Bayern Munich. The Argentine is surplus to requirements at Manchester United after falling out of favor under Ruben Amorim. However, Garnacho has previously made it clear that it is Chelsea or nobody as he risks missing out on a move before the end of the window. The Blues are keen to sign the forward, but remain around $10 million away from United's valuation. The Red Devils want around 40 million for the 21-year-old, with Chelsea, thus far, failing to go beyond 30 million. Garnacho is part of the bomb squad at Carrington, which also included Marcus Rashford before his move to Barcelona. He hasn't played a competitive match since going public with his frustrations after starting on the bench in the Europa League final against Tottenham in Bilbao. He said back in May, "Up until the final, I played every round helping the team, and today I play 20 minutes, I don't know. The final will influence my decision, but the whole season, the situation of the club. I'm going to try to enjoy the summer and see what happens afterwards." Stamford Bridge bosses have already spent big this summer, signing Jamie Gittins for 48.5, spending 65 million on João Pedro, paying 37 million for Jarell Hato, and sanctioning the 30 million transfer of Liam Delap. But Enzo Maresca is still in the market for more firepower and would like Garnacho, with the player similarly desperate to make the move. But the Premier League giants are unable to make any further incomings without sanctioning exits first, which had opened the door for German champions Bayern. The Times report that Bayern explored the possibility of signing Garnacho, but were quickly informed he only wants to sign for Chelsea. Bayern had previously been linked with Christopher Nkunku, who Maresca is happy to sell this summer, but saw a loan offer rebuffed. They want a permanent sale on the books and could yet get their wish. The Athletic report that the forwards, former club RB Leipzig, are stepping up talks to re-sign Nkunku in what would be a permanent transfer. Nicholas Jackson could also help bolster Chelsea's transfer kitty, with Aston Villa ready to go head-to-head with Newcastle for his signature. Chelsea want around $60 million for the Senegal striker who has fallen down the pecking order thanks to this summer's business. Manchester United and Arsenal had been linked previously, but a Premier League switch could still be on the cards. Maresca is hoping for a busy end to the window, with not only Garnacho arriving and exits completed, but also the acquisition of a new defender. Levi Colwill is set to miss the majority of the season after undergoing surgery on his ACL, and although there are options behind him, Maresca made it clear he wanted different options. "I think we need a central defender," he said last week. "We are looking for an internal solution, but as I said, the club know exactly what I think." Asked again after their opening day draw. With Crystal Palace, the Italian said, "You like to talk about central defenders? I already spoke. Thank you very much." Forget Carlos Baleba. Man United already have an alternative who Paul Scholes once compared to Zidane. Man United failed to sign Brighton midfielder Carlos Baleba this summer as the South Coast club priced them out of a deal. Ruben Amorim decided to play Casemiro alongside Bruno Fernandes in the opening game against Arsenal on Sunday, but it is understood that the United manager would still like a holding midfielder before the end of the transfer window. Brighton's Carlos Baleba was a target for United, but after the South Coast club priced him at over 100 million, meaning United's pursuit of him came to an abrupt end. Reports are now suggesting that the Red Devils are considering a move for Crystal Palace midfielder Adam Wharton as an alternative for Baleba. However, as the Red Devils have already spent over 200 million this summer, they may not be able to afford to buy a new midfielder. So Amorim should consider looking at players in his current squad to fill that role alongside Fernandes. Amorim should play Kobbie Mainoo next to Fernandes. One of the more puzzling situations at Old Trafford is the status of Kobbie Mainoo, who emerged as a real breakout star under Erik ten Hag, but hasn't had the same level of game time under Amorim. And it is hard to figure out why. Mainoo is a consistent performer and actually plays a very similar game to someone like Balaba, so why then is Amorim not playing him? Mainoo didn't feature in the opening game against Arsenal, and that would be a decision that former Man United midfielder Paul Scholes will disagree with. After his goal in the 2024 FA Cup final, Scholes said, "He's the nearest thing I've seen to Zidane in taking a ball, receiving the ball, cruising past people. The way he received the ball with confidence. I just couldn't believe such a young player could do that." It does beg the question, why did United go after Balaba when they already have a quality, young defensive midfielder who is only going to get better with more game time? Amorim should play Mainoo next to Fernandes instead of Casemiro like he did on the opening day. What has Mainoo said about his Man United role? The 19-year-old made just 25 Premier League appearances last season, which doesn't seem enough considering that Manuel Ugarte was poor and Casemiro is 33 and very inconsistent in his levels of performance. He has hinted that he is unhappy with a lack of minutes, as Mainoo said on TNT Sports during last season. "I'm just happy to be on the pitch for Manchester United wherever the manager needs me to play." If Ruben Amorim continues to play the likes of Casemiro and Ugarte ahead of Mainoo, the English midfielder could begin to get unsettled at Old Trafford and push for a move away, which would be a huge mistake by Amorim and a big loss for Manchester United. The manager simply has to consider the 19-year-old moving forward, as it doesn't look like they will be bringing in a defensive midfielder before the end of the transfer window.